Welcome back to a special episode of Behind the Game. I'm your host, Grace Mott, and I'm joined today by Chestnut Hill's very own Bob Heller. Bob is currently in his 5th season here at CHC and his 33rd season overall in athletic communications. He is considered the Dean of the CHC Sports Information Directors. He has been at a CHC school since 1999, except his 4 years at Lincoln University. This is Bob's 4th school. He's been at Drexel, University of the Sciences, Lincoln, and now Chestnut Hill. At U Sciences, Bob was also the cross-country coach, where he won 1 CACC championship and 2 CACC Coach of the Year awards for women's cross-country. He was also the assistant women's basketball coach. So, Bob, hearing all those accolades, you've received more too. You're in some Hall of Fames. What does that mean to you?
It kind of means a lot that it shows a lot of the awards that I have gotten over the years shows that I'm respected by my peers in the business. The one award which I got, which was called the Kenworthy Award, is not for what we do, what accolades I've done, but it's based on content of character and bringing integrity to the game, to the field.
Wow, that's really impressive. How'd you get into this, like the world of sports communications, and how'd you end up here?
Well, I ended up, first off, I started out, I was a student at Villanova. As a student, I worked in the sports information office there under the two people I worked under. One was Craig Miller, who later became the senior VP of communications for USA Basketball.
Oh, wow.
And the other was, his name was Dave Koski, who right now he owns a couple of radio stations down on the Jersey Shore area. And he at one time was a vice president for Trump Entertainment.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
And those two were my mentors in the business. Another gentleman I worked with he was 1 year ahead of me. His name was Jim DiLorenzo. He has his own PR firm in the city right now, and he does stuff like with Comic-Con and a lot of these other events and everything. And he's associated with Bill Rasmussen, he's the founder of ESPN.
Oh, wow, that's really cool.
Who, very nice person, got to meet him a few times because he's come to our national conventions on it. So now coming here, the job kind of fell into my lap. I was not working at the time because I was let go at Lincoln in the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I was covering the Philadelphia Summer League basketball, which a lot of the Chestnut Hill ladies were playing in. Jesse's came to some of the games. He had asked us, says, okay, if they'll need help with some of the games during the season. And so I said, yeah, I'm available for pretty much anything during the season. I was still not working. I was just doing basically per diem gigs anywhere. Yeah. And then Greg Gornick, who was my predecessor, was leaving to take a similar position closer to where him and his wife had just bought a house, at Gwynedd Mercer University, and this job opened up. Greg left like on October 1st, and I was in the office working by October 6th.
Wow, that's pretty cool. And so you've been to almost every game and match here at Chestnut Hill as much as you could. What does that mean to you to not only be there because you need to, but also to be there and watch the teams either succeed through challenges, through it all?
The main thing is one of the main things I like to do, and it's one of the main premises of what I do is to tell the stories. Mm-hmm. Tell the stories of the student athletes. And being at the games is not only, yes, I'm there, I'm doing the stats, I'm doing the PA announcing or whatever else needed at the games. Yeah. Writing about them like for senior days or things like that. But being able to interact with them gets me to know them better.
Yeah.
And everything. And if I know them better and everything, then I'm able to tell more about them, what they do. It's like I am very big on what they accomplish, not just on the field, but off the field, particularly on the academic end.
Yeah, that's a huge thing, being a student athlete. And I talk a lot about that with my other guests. I ask them what it means to them to be a student athlete. So it's nice to hear you talk about that with us, like our accomplishments in the classroom also matter.
Right. And that's one of the things is I've been involved, like I've been on the National Academic All-America Committee for about a dozen years now. Now I'm a part of my handle is women's basketball for NCAA Division II, and I handle what's called the I handle as a part of the review team for the Women's at Large program, which is pretty much every other sport that doesn't have a awards of their own, such as like bowling or some of the smaller sports, bowling, skiing, field hockey. Yeah, we do have some schools have skiing. We do have some schools even with rifle. I came from U Sciences, which actually had a nationally ranked rifle team.
That's impressive.
So I've actually attended a national championship up at Army.
Wow.
When we had a shooter qualify for national championships one year. And my boss, who was also, before he became AD at Sciences, he was the associate AD. He was also the national chair for the NCAA Rifle Committee.
Wow. You've also you were a coach. What was that? What did that mean to you?
Coaching is telling them, being able to teach things I've learned and everything. I learned a lot about, as I said, when I was an assistant with basketball, because I was a basketball manager at Villanova during the time when they won their first national championship.
Oh, wow.
And everything. I worked primarily with the women's program, who the women's coach, who's now retired, Harry Peretta, he won almost 800 games over his course of his career. But I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot from my AD at Sciences, Bobby Morgan, who was won 600 games during his career. He went to 4 national tournaments during his coaching tenure and everything. So I learned a lot from them, and it's giving back to the kids. I should say giving back to the athletes and everything. I've coached a lot of athletes in the years I was at Sciences. On my cross-country team, I've coached 4 medical doctors who are now medical doctors. I've coached a lot of pharmacists. And I've been through ups and downs with all of them and everything. I've taken my women's cross country team at Sciences to the NCAA regionals 13 straight years.
Wow, that's really impressive.
About 8 or 9 times we went with men's team as well. And it was also like camaraderie too with when we traveled them, we always shared a bus with Jefferson.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we shared a bus, shared the cost and everything.
Yeah.
So, and I helped found the CAC Cross Country Championship back in 2000.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, back in 2000, and was the meet director for the first 10 years of that at Belmont. And everything, and then the one meet where it was pouring rain, muddy as everything, and I'm trying to run my meet. My assistant coach, who was also the head women's basketball coach, and I was his assistant for them, for when we won the 2 championships. Yeah. He slipped, blew out his knee.
Wow.
Which also kind of left us a little short on transportation because he had the CDL license to drive the bus.
Yeah.
So at that point I said, okay, it's time for me to give up the host and spend some more time with the team at the championship meet, and I gave that to the coach at Jefferson at the time, and he's been hosting it ever since.
Well, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being on the podcast.
You're welcome.
Thank you again for joining me on the episode of Behind the Game. A big thank you to my guest, Bob Heller. We appreciate you and all you do here.
Thank you. I appreciate all the teams here. The women's soccer team was amazing. But I was very surprised when I come in and find all the little notes on my door that day and everything. And because we just finished up National SID Athletic Communicators Appreciation Week.
Yeah.
So as I said, the main thing is I tell the story of the student athletes. So be sure to come out and watch our athletes as we get started with the winter season with basketball.
Yeah, definitely. Next week, join me in talking to Chestnut Hill's own athletic director, Jesse Belser.